Listen, brothers, if we do not do what it is that I say within this video or talk about, we would have failed the message of Hamza, Ice Cold JT, Cam is Cold, Jordan Peterson, maybe even Andrew Tate. People like this that are trying to help further the message of masculinity, right? And what is that exactly? What am I talking about? What's the issue? The issue at hand is the fact that I think we're approaching this war on masculinity thing very incorrectly. See, what do you think happens when you argue with a human being, right? When you tell them, no, this is what's happening, or, you're stupid for thinking this way, you only push them further apart. It doesn't create understanding. It creates resistance, right? I mean, look at these politicians. They're lovely at this. They know how to do this, right? They know how to talk up a storm, make the other side feel stupid, and then sway public opinion. But you know what all of them end up being very bad at sometimes? Taking action on what it is they say. And I think that is the exact thing we need to learn to do. How about we lead by example rather than talking? Now, I know there might be a war, and we don't want to be necessarily naive to that. We might be getting attacked in some manners, and people will paint us, as misogynists or incels or whatever they want in a bad light. It will happen. But you can't possibly paint someone in a bad light when they're leading by good example and they're actually improving the lives of men, even women. And if they persist on arguing, then what are we to waste our time? Why don't we need to leave the conversation, bro? What are we doing wasting our time there? Because sometimes, bro, these people argue for the sake of arguing. They're not actually trying to look at our point of view or agree to disagree. They just want to be right. That's all they care about. They want to paint you in whatever picture they seem feasible so it helps them in the long term. And I'm saying not to be naive to that, right? But how does it help us when we just sit there and argue? It doesn't defend our case any better, I don't think. You don't make more of a case for yourself. The only way you do that is by being the example that we talk about. The kind of men, the kind of noble men we're trying to become, that are humble, show a level of humility, and take out their helping hand to really help the people in need, and not focusing on all these other people that we know aren't going to listen to us or our message. And if it's not going to work for them or improve them, so be it. It's fine. Let's not preach it like it's the truth. It's our truth, sure. But if we get very, very aggressive about it, it's not going to help anybody, I don't think. We need to just, especially some of the, whatever you want to call it, the cult members or the followings of Hamza's channels or Ice Cold JT's channels, all these people, like, y'all need to stop focusing on making all these comments about how we're being attacked and all this, and setting a bad example for the communities, for these communities, right? Because, all of these, think about all the things, like, for example, Hamza preaches, right? Are you an Adonis if you go to other people's channels? And, okay, I've already had my fair share of hate, right? And I'm a self-improvement YouTuber just like Hamza, and people are shitting on me from his channel. Imagine the hate that all these other people are getting on the internet that don't agree with us, and we're proving them right by sending, our followers there, or people that are trying to become noble men, and, you're getting tricked by these folk that don't believe in our message, and then you end up commenting things that, end up reinforcing their argument even more. And so we end up looking more like idiots, like misogynist or whatever you want to call it, whatever insult or thing they can mold us into looking like, they're able to get away with that because you're allowing it to happen. You cannot be this way, bro. Stop going under them and trying to convince them of something. You might slip up, say something, and it just doesn't set a good example for us. And you might say, well, why do we need to look so good into the eyes of the public and things like that? Like, why should we appease these people? And it's not for the low battery. It's not for the fact of appeasing these people that we're doing such things. We're not necessarily trying to kill them with kindness or anything like that, right? What we're doing is we're setting an example. We're leading by example. You know, you hear these stories about maybe religious stories, maybe stories within movies, books, everything, about how people are embodying a noble figure and actually being it rather than just talking about it. I think that's a quote in Stoicism too. Like, rather than talking about what a good man is, how about you be one? And that does not start by commenting under these channels that don't believe in what we're saying and are trying to twist our words. That does not happen by acting like this victimhood mentality of, oh, we're under attack, watch out. We need to set examples. We need to be the ones to hold out our hand and be like, we're willing to help you, even if you don't think, that this is the best for you. Because some people will come around, bro. Some people will come around. And when we're out there putting our hand out and we've always been there for them, then of course they're going to feel welcome. Think about it, right? Think about any time someone tried to argue on you, force their values on you, their beliefs on you, things like that, and they tried to make you look stupid. What happened, bro? You wanted to stand your ground even more, double down, even if you were wrong. That happens in road rage all the time. You know you were wrong, you get honked at, you just get really mad, and you're like, you know what, screw you. That's what ends up happening. So lead by example. That's all. That's really all there is to it. And if someone's not going to listen to the message or try to twist your words in ways to fit their own narrative, or they're just praying that you're this misogynist or incel, and they try to, they can't get around that, then bro, leave that conversation. You don't need to be there. You don't need to change these people. The only people you can change are the people that are willing to change, that are willing to have that open mind, and some aren't, and in some cases that is going to work out for them. And that's perfectly fine, bro. We need to be okay with that. Because remember, the message we're trying to send out is to help young men improve by telling them our truths about our lives that helped us. We're not necessarily here to say this is the right way, this is the way to go about things, because you do not, and I repeat this, you do not entice anyone or help anyone by doing that necessarily. Oh yeah, I'm right, follow this, do all this. No, I just tell you what I went through, and if my story is relatable to you, then you understand, and you really relate to that, and you're like, okay, maybe this guy, what he's telling me, I could maybe try out, and maybe that might just help me. And that's all we can really hope for. And that is the way we're going to bring more people into this, and hopefully make the world the better place, just like the rest of us who watch self-improvement want to, because we want the communities around us to be better. We want the partners that we associate with ourselves to be better, the friends to be better, everything. So stop trying to have this narrative and this argument that you feel so attacked. It's almost like a victim mentality. Like, leave. We need to be those noble men that just are there to help people, and if they don't want our help and they're not willing to take it, then we simply exit. No need to start up some fight. No need to think that this is the truth. No need to do all this. It all looks flashy. It all looks amazing. It all looks like, and sometimes you do need to put your foot down and be assertive when people are putting you in a bad light, and that's perfectly fine. But don't try to actively go out of your way to preach something that you might end up regretting it, because you might end up saying more than you need to, or things like that, and then you give them more ammunition to fire back against you in some capacity. That's all I got for you, all right? Peace out. Take it easy.